Sometimes, as Honorable said, the website is such that when you are filling the form and you don't complete it, and then you come back again, sometimes you have to, for you to proceed, you have to change your email address. I had a call here, somebody was trying to complete a form, the visa application form. Passport application form. The person had a problem, and I think didn't know how to proceed. So the person called me, gave my number to whoever was filling the form. The person called me, and then I told him to change their email address. They changed their email address, and they went through. But the other thing,
it shouldn't be that though. I mean,
but
really, how many times
but you see that is
to get through?
Yeah, but that you see
I
that
think our system is quite not reliable. I'm serious.
But let me answer the other question too. You talked about the fact that you have to mail the hard copy, your documents to us. It's done by a lot of embassies. The American embassy does that. You see, when you print out, yes. I applied for an American visa not long ago. You submit it online, and they will tell you to bring a hard copy, the documents itself. The day that you have, I'm telling you, I applied for a visa. Okay, so when you bring when you print our document, you realize that there's a barcode on top there.
We know that.
Okay, so when it comes to us, we have a scanner. When we scan the barcode, it reveals all the information on our monitor, and through that's how you are able to proceed with the vetting. So if you submit it, how do we know that the application is coming from you? Then you have to come in person. Wherever you are, you have to come in person. Bring your whatever slip that you got, and based on that, you can retrieve your document. But for us not to let people travel long distances, we tell you that just mail your hard copies to us, which has the barcode. When we scan, we'll retrieve all the documents and process it. And we also ask for envelopes, return envelopes, because you are in California. You cannot, if you say you are traveling to, let's say Washington or New York to apply for a visa, first of all, you submit the visa application. That means you have to go in person, or you can decide to post it. When it is ready, if you don't have a self-addressed envelope with stamps on it, then that means you have to journey again and go and pick the document. So we require the self-addressed envelope, so that when we finish the process, issuing of a passport or the visa, we post it back to you. I hope you understand.
Yeah, but you see, look, the thing is that our application forms are not that complicated. They're not that complicated.
Yes.
And personally, I just can't be wrong with my own personal information. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I've had to help out some of our colleagues who are computer challenged or whatever. Sometimes, like I said, some people go through, some people don't. And to the degree where you just cannot be proceeded for some really crazy stuff that really doesn't. I'll give an example. Okay. If you're applying for a visa, for example, at some point in time, I was helping somebody to apply for a visa, okay? And then at some point, almost to the end, we found out that she couldn't meet the deadline within which she had to fly. So we had to go back and change the ordinary application. You see, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. To the expedited. This time the system is not allowing us to do so. I know, but I understand. And I'm like, wow, at least we should be able to have, the chance to go back and edit and move it from whatever reason, that's okay. And I'm sure you guys can explain, fine. But then it's not going to let you do that. So now we have to go on chat line, and then somebody says, okay, it will take I did go on a chat line, somebody said it's going to take about 24 hours to be fixed. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. After 24 hours, went in trying to link up with somebody, the person said, we're still looking into it. Fine. 2 days come by. Now I'm ready to get on the same chat line. Okay, give us 3 hours. And I'm talking, this lady's panicking because, we're talking how soon it will be resolved, when she's going to get back and then leave the country. Finally, on the third day, somebody said, okay, give me 2 hours. I even forgot. 4 hours later, I went to check. I checked the New York Times, and you guys were still open. I checked, and somebody said, okay, give us half an hour. Well, sometime in the evening, around 6 o'clock, I went to check, and actually it's been done. So the thing is, even for a simple courtesy, you saw how long it took.
So please, the next time, you see, our system is such that
let me have a serious problem.
Let me give you a solution to that. When
is a consulate also doing to correct?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, let him.
So please, when you are filling the form, and let's say you choose standard, and you realize that the scenario you spoke about, just buy the money order for the 24 hours, and just put a note on top of the visa application form that you want to upgrade to 24 hours. I know that is our system. You see, you see, the system is handled not by the consulate or the mission here. It's a very big system handled by the whole of this part of the world. Canada and all those people are on the same system. We are always telling the system handlers to, every query problems that we have, we are telling them improve it. They improve some. You know how some of these people behave. They delay in correcting some of these things. It is not like it is a website that is exclusive to New York and Washington. It handles all this part of the world. Europe also has their system. Africa also has their system. So it's not like when you say that we have to do something about it, we get some of these challenges, complaints and all that. We relay it to them. We speak with them. Sometimes they change it. Sometimes it delays. We are always on them, because yes, I understand that a system should allow you to change your mind. If you have decided that, okay, I chose standard, but because of one or two reasons, I want to change it to priority, 24 hours. The system should allow you. But these are some of the challenges you are also facing, and we are working with them to change it.
That's what we want to hear. Thank you. Thank you very much. And to follow up, Honorable, you mentioned that communicating with some people may be difficult by phone because of the time difference. Can we communicate by email? Is that an option?
Yes, we normally do that. We use the emails too. And there are some emails. You see, we are also having challenges.
I mean, do people actually respond?
Yes, the emails. Yes,
Like
we
I said,
do.
It's been a
No, you
complaint
see,
by me.
my brother, you see, what you should know is that whilst discussing issues of this nature, we shouldn't be personal. It shouldn't be please. No, it is a general thing. Yes, it's a general thing that we are. So for you to ask, do you respond at all? I'm the head of the whole thing. I tell you, we do it. And you'll be surprised that somebody just came to the office and was just trying to come and find out about this very communication. When we went to the office, she only saw that somebody was sitting down there busy. The phones were about 3. Somebody will call, somebody will call, somebody will call. So it was at that point that the lady said, oh yes, I have seen that. That is why some of these things are delayed. You see, we should also admit that we are doing our best, and the applicants should also do their best. The information that you give to us is what we are going to use to work for you. So if we are even giving you give us your email, and then we try to get you through the email, you don't get the telephone, you don't get, definitely we put the whole thing somewhere. And you will be there for about 2 months, 3 months. So I just sent this thing to Ghana Consulate, and nobody is minding me. And when it is time for the person to travel, that is the day that he will be giving us pressure. You see, we always try to tell our people that, look, documentation is very crucial. At any point, let us try to look at our documents, our passport. At any point, something can happen that you have to quickly move to Ghana. And now going in to renew it, because somebody will be not even know that the passport has even expired, or the visa that he has acquired has even expired, until he gets to the airport. Others will be in the office about 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock when our gentleman would like to go. Somebody will be running with all his bags that I went to the airport and they told me that my visa has expired. So what do we do? You see, some of these things, when it comes that way, that is where at times we try our best to issue maybe travel certificate on emergency for some of these, so that we tell them, okay, when you go to Ghana, once over there, try to renew your passport and then come back. So we have challenges, just like how people complain. We also have our complaints, but we are there to surmount some of these problems and then make sure that we address them. Just like what he said, the software is managed by a certain group of company in UK. Our software, the one that controls the entire Ghanaian system in machines in the world. It's a UK company. So they also make sure that they are very strict to the information that you give. So at any point, if you want to fill the form, please kindly have a means of jotting everything down. But the moment you bypass the first page, where it will require you to put your date of birth and then your name and then all those things, the moment you move there, you cannot come back there, because you cannot. When even you submit, we give you a password and you come to tell us that you want to change your date of birth. We cannot do it again for you. Even in Accra, we cannot do it for you. That is why the system is made in such a way that the first page that you do it, please take time, do it, and do it diligently. Well, the moment you move from that page, you cannot go there again. The system will lock you. It will lock you. So that is how the whole thing works.
Thank you very much.
And let me just add, and also the issue about the emails and all that. You see, we receive tons of calls, tons and tons of calls. You admit that, you see, it's a consulate. It's not only Ghanaians who are calling. Americans are also calling. Sometimes you even receive calls outside. People just wanting to get some information. So let's say a day, probably about 500 calls will come through. 500 people will call. But the person sitting down might be able to pick, let's say, about 100. And then you try calling again. Maybe unfortunately you don't get through. So definitely there will be complaints that, oh, I am trying to call. We tried calling the Canadian High Commission, the Canadian Embassy. Their number that is there, you call, you stay on and on and on. You just have to even drop the line. So yes, it's a problem. It's a common problem with every embassy or every public institution that offers a lot of service. If you want to pick every call, then that's when people get call centers. That you have a lot of people picking the calls, but we cannot afford that. So we try as much as possible to, like the visas like this. When we refuse you visa, we send you, we put the reason there, and automatically it comes to your email. So as Honorable said, if you give us a wrong email address, somebody doesn't even know. Let's say somebody filled the form for him. That person used their email address. So you are the applicant, and then somebody else uses his or her email, probably an email address that they don't even check. And then there's a problem with your application. We send it to that email. How are you going to get it? So please, as much as possible, as Honorable said, let us give the correct detail. The phone numbers too, sometimes we call and then you leave a voice message. People don't call back. Or when you call, yes, some people even call, California time is different. They will call in the afternoon, probably we have closed. And you get to, sometimes I'm in the consulate on Saturday or Sunday, people will be calling, the lines will be ringing. I'm telling you, it will, on Saturday, like it could ring about 50 times. Then that same person will say that I called the consulate, but nobody picked. We don't work on weekends.
Well, most services, of course, we know.
Yes, but you see, that person will not tell you that. They will tell you, because when I'm there, people call about not less than 50 calls. So that person will also say that, will be among those people who say that I've called the consulate, but nobody, to that person I am calling. Maybe that person is around 5 o'clock here, the person is calling New York. New York is late. Nobody is working. I hope you understand. Yes. So please, we are trying, we'll try and sort your issues out.
Well, okay, thank you. So, Honorable, I think things have changed. It was bad with the response, but I think, Mr. Aggie, things have changed, because somebody just called me last week and was applying for a visa and said, oh, I was having problems, and I called, somebody picked up. I'm like, what? Somebody picked up? He said, yes. And I was actually chatting with somebody. I said, what? She said, yes. But the problem is that she was getting conflicting information from whoever was responding to. Like, she called this time, this person says this, calls this time. The issue was that a family of 5 traveling, and they have to pay money for their passports to be returned. Am I right?
Yes.
So she said, do we just pay for one, since it's just 5 of us, or do we pay for every person, even the children? And one person said yes, one person said no. So to be on the safe side, she just paid 5 for 5 people, which I think shouldn't be the case. So what should it be?
For the visa, we can combine it and post it. But for the passports, is different. Because let's say you're a family of 5. Every application is different. Your application could delay. You understand? So if it delays, how are we going to reconcile that? When yours, not even but when all yours is ready, and the other 4 they are not ready, you see, it could get missing somewhere.
Right.
So that is why we encourage that for passports, please give us individual envelopes so that when the passports are ready, we can just post it. For the visas,
This
it's
was
not
a visa.
Okay,
So
for
will she
visa,
get her money back?
unfortunately, when the money goes, it's not refundable.
Thank you so much.
So a family of 5.
Yes.
I'm talking a family of 5 from the same house.
Ms. Aggie.
Okay.
Cannot
No, we start
package
issues.
the family in one envelope, or they have to send individual.
No, that's what I'm saying. That for passports, we encourage that you send envelope for individual applicants. But for visa,
You just pay for one.
Yeah, you can pay for one, and that is it. So far as you can enter the envelope that you brought, that is okay. And so far as the mailing company here will take it, it's not okay. But for the passport, we want to be
My brother, you know what? These 5 people that you are talking about, the envelope the person will provide is just like this white one, the full. That is what the person wants you to mail a passport back to. Do you see? Some of these things, when it comes and then the person who is handling all these things, some people get irritated on some of this because 5 passports for you to provide a very big envelope for it to be sent to you. You see that an envelope like this, and the person is also not going to pay that amount for you to send it back to you. You won't do it. You understand? So some of these things, it is just for and against. For you, against us, and then for us and against you. So we have to play it in such a way that we look at it holistically and say that, okay, no, I need 5 passports. Can this very envelope that I am using going to contain the number of passports? So that when you send, every rational being will know that yes, this thing can go. But with the 5 passports providing this envelope, the person will just put a man on it and put it somewhere. And then you will be needing it. And you will be thinking that, but it is because you provided a wrong handling that prompted the delay. You see, so, Chief, I beg you, it is a system that we are all trying to make sure that it works and works properly. Most of us were born before computer, the BBC group. This year, our BBC group born before computer. You see, so some people don't know much of it. And then we've got some people who are computer literate, but going into individual softwares, it is not only because you are an IT person, because the information wants you to put in a correct information. That is why at times we get stuck somewhere. So please, we are doing our best. Let you people also do. At times, somebody will also come and then explain the situation to you, and you will know that, oh, okay, no, this thing shouldn't be like this. Let us support such and such a person. At times, there are some people, when they come, we've given him a period, like we should proceed to the embassy on maybe on the 7th of May or 7th of June. But the person will come directly and say that, oh, Chief, your machine told me that I should submit my application so and so on day. But my mother is seriously sick. I have to go to that. We are humans. We quickly change the system. And then we do our best to work for the person before the person's date given by the machine. So some of these things we try to go around it, and then so because it's a human institution, and we also try our best to go around some of these things and work for our people.
So I'm sitting here unable to renew my own passport. That's what I'm saying.
So when you finish, I will ask.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here unable. You see, the idea was to renew it, take it to Ghana, and even apply for the Ghana card. The system just didn't let me. And not only that, like I said, just last month, I'm helping somebody to renew her passport. Well, it's actually a stolen passport. Just like you said, we have the police report and everything. In the middle of the game, we just couldn't proceed. So that's what I'm saying. So, and I know what I'm saying is, I understand the way you did explain, but what I'm saying is, the community at large, they don't know that. So we need to find a way to communicate these things. because I don't do this for, you know, when folks come, we just try our
The
best.
communication we discussed with the VFS.
I went to his office one time, if you recognize me, to ask him if the system was working.
What we are going to do is that we will continuously be having a Zoom